Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the High Ticket Coaching and Consultant Strategy and Growth Show. Now, if you listen to this interview anywhere else but within our private Facebook community called High Ticket Client Attraction Insider Circle, then definitely come check us out. We'd definitely love to have you. That group was put together specifically for coaches, consultants, and service providers who are serious about getting up to that 6 and that 7-figure level. So if that's you, definitely come check out our community. So today I want to introduce you to one of our community members, Toni. Welcome, Toni.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Doing awesome. How are you doing?
Quite fantastic. Thanks for asking.
Love it, love it. Fantastic is always good.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So tell us, Toni, tell the community, what is it that you do?
Yes, of course. I'm a holistic Spanish tutor. And what does it mean? Obviously, I teach Spanish. That's what the Spanish tutor does. However, I do a whole approach to teaching, apart from the obvious, like the grammar, the reading, the writing, the conversation. I bring the whole Spanish experience to you, wherever you might be. If it's online, I bring it to your living room. If it's face-to-face, wherever we are, we could be at my office, we could be sitting at the park. And it's a whole experience, including the music, the cuisine, meeting, since we're 21 different countries that we share the language. So I will introduce you to different situations where you can interact with different Spanish-speaking people with different accents, different experiences from different countries. And the cuisine is fantastic, which I include in my classes. Sometimes my classes are catered with tapas, because I'm from Spain. Or we can go to either a Puerto Rican restaurant, Colombian restaurant, Argentinian restaurant, or we can go to a Cuban restaurant and then dance some salsa. So you get the whole experience. It just doesn't get any better than that. And I'm having a blast at the same time.
Yeah, I love it. So how did you get started as a Spanish tutor?
Oh, that's such a good question. And I love to tell the story. I'm originally from a beach town on the east coast of Spain in the Valencia region called Javia. We, back then, I'm talking about the 60s, 70s, 80s, we had a huge community of North European retired people living there. Mostly from England and Holland and so on. And they were living there, they didn't know the language, but being a tourist place, they always could get by speaking in English. My dad was very strict with me learning English. That was a non-negotiable. So especially in the summer when the school was out, he had a few friends from North Europe that they were living there. They were retired, they had nothing to do, literally. So my dad will ask me to come there and meet with them to practice my English, which I did. However, they start asking me random questions about the Spanish because they were not fluent. I started explaining to them. They kept asking and asking. Last thing you know, in 2 months, like towards the end of the summer, I had a waiting list of students wanting to take my class, which it started by, there was a need that was not being met, and that was the beginning. Mm-hmm. So it's been a few years.
Yeah. Awesome.
And then I continued teaching in Spain in my hometown, because then Europeans had a month vacation. So their relatives will come to visit, they will stay there for the entire month. So between the senior citizens retired that live there and their relatives coming for the summer, it became a business. And then I continue because people kept asking me to teach them Spanish. And then a few years later, I moved to London, England, while I was improving my English, and I continued my tutoring. So that way I could finance my stay in London. And then in the early 90s, I moved to the US. First, Boston, Massachusetts. I lived there for a few years. and then I moved to the New York area. So many experiences, many students, some became great friends, and I'm still having a blast every day.
Mm. Yeah, powerful stuff, powerful stuff. So ultimately, teaching Spanish has been your lifelong journey, in essence.
Before, when I was much younger, it was part-time. It was part-time because my dream was to come to the US, live in New York, and be an independent, financially independent business owner woman. So, and I wanted to work on Wall Street, which I did. So I did all that. So I did teach Spanish part-time up until then. And then when I got to New York with the job I wanted, then I lost interest. Well, September 11 hit. So that was the end of my corporate career. Then I discovered geriatric and Pilates. I fell in love with it, got certified, ended up opening a studio where I live in downtown Jersey City. So I was doing both, tutoring Spanish and training clients. I would do back to back at my studio, which I ended up losing with Hurricane Sandy. And then I continued teaching Spanish because I didn't need to have an office or a studio to do that. I could just teach anywhere. And then the business obviously grew more because I spent more hours and there was huge demand for learning the language. And also, apparently my classes are super fun. So word of mouth is great because students tell other students, and then here I am today. And this is what I do. But I've been doing full-time since Hurricane Sandy.
Yeah. Okay, good, good. So what's in terms of, and you said your business is virtual too, right? So you could work with clients
yes,
all over?
Exactly. Before I did both, face-to-face and online. But then since the pandemic, 100% online, which I didn't know how that was going to go, to teach so many hours online, because I'm definitely a social butterfly and I'm definitely not shy. So the face-to-face interaction, it's always been my preference. So the pandemic started, and then all my students moved online, obviously, and then new students start showing up because the location didn't matter and they were locked down. So they thought learning Spanish would be a good idea, and I actually agree with them. And it's been so much fun. I didn't know this until I experienced it. Getting to know my current students on a different level, like to see their houses, to meet their families, having the cat cover the computer screen during class, or having the dog barking in the background and jumping. And then occasionally the relative that walks by but doesn't know it's within the computer frame. So I got to see their pajamas as well for my classes. So yeah, every day was something new. It's been a lot of fun because I got to know my current students in a much different way. And then the new students, it's been great. Even though they are geographically somewhere else and we only interact virtually, but it, quite honestly, it feels like we're face to face, that we have built that intimacy between tutor and student, and it's been working out great. So we are going to continue the classes online going forward. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, online is definitely changes the game, huh? I like to say when I do these interviews, I'm like on all different continents.
Mm-hmm.
Just like today, where are you located today?
I'm sorry?
Where are you located?
Oh, I'm in downtown Jersey City, which geographically it's New Jersey, but I'm only 2 subway stops from Manhattan, like literally leaving my apartment, taking the train, which is just around the corner. In 10 minutes, I'm in the city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the students, because my office is in downtown Jersey City. So before the pandemic, I had some students in the city that they just didn't want to come to New Jersey. So I will go to meet them in the city. But after during the pandemic, obviously everything has moved online. And one of the things that it's super fun is I also offer family classes. So
Family
it's
classes?
family classes, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
which is a minor, and either the parents or the grandparents or the guardian.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun because especially during the pandemic, we had mom, dad, the kid, the dog, the cat, or whoever,
Mm-hmm.
the grandma, taking the class at the same time. Yes, pets can be bilingual. You can give them commands in Spanish and they will listen. So, and yeah, and we did some dancing, and I'm also certified laughter yoga teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So my students don't know; they just think I'm goofy. So I do a lot of goofy stuff during class, and we have a blast. And there's definitely dancing and singing and movement and whatever I feel. I use my intuition a lot. It's kind of a structure. It's a structured class, but it seems unstructured because I
Mm-hmm.
use my intuition, and depending what I sense, that's how I manage the class. As long as it's fun for both for the students and myself, and they're learning, and I'm actually learning from them as well. Then to me that's a win-win, and that's a good class.
Yeah. Okay, good. And with your students, how long is your typical engagement with them?
Oh, that's an excellent question because it starts at 45 minutes. 45 minutes is mostly for children,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes I do that with executives too because they use their lunch hour for the class. So 45 minutes fits that need. However, I teach 2 hours. I don't recommend more than 2 hours unless there is a specific need, like if you need a bootcamp class because you're going to Latin America in a month and
Mm-hmm.
we really need to uh, work on your Spanish, then yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't recommend a class longer than 2 hours because
Mm-hmm.
then it's just hard to keep the student engaged. But I teach from 45 minutes to classes of 2 hours. And I have a 2-year-old student, and with her class, it's 90 minutes. That's the first time that has happened to me, that I got a child engaged for that long.
Mm-hmm.
But the child is having fun, the parents are super happy. And then even when I leave, the child still doesn't want me to leave. So that's been quite an accomplishment.
Yeah. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. And what do you see is next for your business and the company that you're building here?
I'm sorry, would you mind repeating the question?
Yeah. What do you see as the next level for your company? What you're working
Oh,
towards
yes,
now?
yes. I'm definitely a one-woman show. Like, I have no interest of being a language academy or things like that. I'm pointing that out because I keep being approached by different places to do collaborations and things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I just love what I do. And I love traveling. So what's in the very near future is, apart from building more my online business and groups, because I can teach many people at the same time and they could be in different countries.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of fun. So I'm moving in
Yeah.
that direction. Well, I'm adding that to what I'm doing because what I'm doing, I love it so much. I'm going to continue doing. But then I'm also going to write super fun grammar book. I love grammar, but what I have discovered all these years that most people don't, but
Mm-hmm.
it's necessary to know it to learn the language properly. So I'm gonna write this book. It's gonna be super fun, and it's targeted for everybody, but mostly for the people that don't like grammar or do not understand grammar.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will have an app. I have an idea that has not been done yet, but I can't tell you because I haven't patented it yet. So I don't want the people with the big box to steal my idea. So I'm not going to share it yet, but that's
Mm-hmm.
in the works. And there's one, oh, I do collaborate with a very good friend of mine from high school. She actually owns a Spanish and English academy in my hometown,
Oh, nice.
Javier. which is also the hometown of Javier Ferrer, the Spanish tennis player that represented us in the Olympics a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So with her, we collaborate on educational holiday to my hometown and that area. That's already in the works. And then with another academy, which is based in Madrid, but they have other locations. And that's a completely different program. So should the student want to go to different parts of Spain, I do facilitate that as well. And the last thing would be for me to figure out a way how to go to other countries and stay there for a while with the locals, and I can teach Spanish as a guest teacher and get involved in the culture. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for now.
Yeah, exciting stuff. So the question now becomes, if someone wanted to reach out and connect with you from after this interview, what's the best way for them to do so?
Oh, the easiest way and the fastest way would be my website, which is my name, Toni Ferrer Studio.com. It says studio because that was the name I had for my Jardonic Pilates and Spanish studio, and I kept the name because people seem to like it, because it gives them the feeling that I'm not and so academic tutor, even though if that's the need, when I get high school students, they need like a more academic approach.
Yeah.
So I can definitely provide that. But yeah, that's the name, ToniFerrerStudio.com.
Yeah, awesome, Toni. And guys, if you're watching this video on the live or on the replay, the links Toni just shared to get connected with her will be either right above or below the video. So you could click and get connected right to her. So Toni, hey, thank you so much for making the time to be here with us today and sharing some of what it is that you do. Do you have any final thoughts before we end?
No, that's been great. And I would say gracias, which is thank you in Spanish. So yeah, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, and thank you so much for the opportunity to actually get to meet you and to reach out to whoever is watching this. I don't know what part of the world. That's so exciting. It's intriguing.
Yeah, awesome, love it. Well, hey, thanks again, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you so much.